senior lecturer at Bangor University. Jonathan, good to have you on the show. The Prime Minister was criticized by some after Mr. Macron's coalition lost its majority in Parliament on Sunday. And to tell you the truth, her future looked under threat after this result. But it seems that she's going to be continuing with her job. How does this affect Macron?
I think that's a fair analysis. There have been suggestions that one of the reasons that Macron's party failed to gain an overall majority was that the Prime Minister, Elisabeth Borne, did not succeed in connecting with the electorate. However, she was actually in place as Prime Minister for a relatively short period of time in the run-up to the elections, so she didn't really have that much time to build a sort of lasting connection, so she was in quite a challenging position to start off with.
Emmanuel Macron has also been meeting with the opposition, looking for what he's calling constructive talks. We've been showing live pictures from the Elysee Palace of these members coming in. But the fact of the matter is that he is in a significantly weaker position.
Absolutely. He went into this election with an overall majority, and as of Sunday evening, he lost that overall majority and was 44 seats short of what he needed to form an overall majority. Now, if he fails to manage to create a coalition government, he could face major challenges if he has to form a minority government, especially given that his planned increase of the retirement age in France from 62 to 65 is quite a divisive issue, really.
I want to ask you which is going to be more difficult for Macron. I mean, he's going to be hosting Le Pen, which, as our viewers know, was his presidential election rival. And he's also going to be meeting with Mélenchon. I mean, what's the common ground here for him?
It's going to be very difficult to find common ground in such a scenario. And indeed, in a lot of ways, he's now having to negotiate with some parties that he was quite dismissive of in the run-up to the second round, indeed the first round of the recent legislative elections. And it will be very hard to find common ground. And I think that the prospect of Marine Le Pen's extreme right Rassemblement National party being in government would send shockwaves through French and European, if not world, politics. This is a party whose optimistic expectations ahead of the second round of the elections recently was to win maybe 40 seats. They've won 89 seats, and this is perhaps one of the most surprising and significant elements of the, in some ways, quite complicated results that we saw on Sunday evening.
Okay, I mean, I think they'll probably be the last ones in terms of backing a no confidence vote in the parliamentary elections, because they had a very good showing then.
It's going to be quite a challenging situation. It certainly isn't an endorsement of Macron's government. It's not an endorsement of what they represent, although I think what they represent is perhaps not necessarily all that clear to the electorate. It's very important to remember that the majority of people in France did not vote in the second round of the legislative elections on Sunday, and this is a country with a record who historically has had quite a high level of turnout in elections, and it's estimated by some pollsters in France that about 7 out of 10 young people did not vote in the second round of the legislative election. So there are issues that all parties need to look at in terms of how they engage with the electors, and in particular young people.
All right. Jonathan Ervine, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. Do appreciate the analysis.